Hello, welcome to this new video. My name is Martina Vincenzi and I am the founder of the VIP Flight Attendant Academy Private Jet Coach. Today I would like to explain much better in details why you should do some researches before sending your CV as a VIP flight attendant. Well, first of all, let me put down my essentiality of today. Okay. What happens when you send your CV for the position of a VIP flight attendant? You need to figure it out to whom you are sending your CV in order for you not to lose time and your energy, in order not to lose their time, and also not to be disappointed when they actually might ghost you, okay? You have to understand that the private jet industry works totally, completely, absolutely different than the airlines. So in this industry, we have different roles which are involved into and are actually a very big part of this industry. Okay, so to give you an example, we have the private jet operator. The private jet operator is the equivalent of the airline, but we cannot call it an airline because technically this is incorrect. They are more an organization, okay? So to call them private jet operator is actually the correct terminology to identify that organization who operates the private jets. And on the other hand, we have the broker. The broker is an intermediary, okay? It's like the insurance broker, the mortgage broker. So that person who does the research for you, basically who does the dirty job for you on your behalf. So we have a client who is in need of a private jet. So this client contacts the broker, saying that he needs to fly on that day at that time with this number of customers. On the other hand, we have the private jet operator who has the jet and who is looking for clients to fly. So the private jet operator is contacted by the broker. Basically, the broker checks worldwide the availability of private jets who are available to perform the mission of the clients. The private jet broker, the private jet operator answers to the request of the broker, expressing its availability, and then the broker propose the different options to the client, hopefully also the most convenient one in economically speaking. So the broker again is in between, okay, the client and the private jet operator. Now, as you can understand, if you send your CV to a broker, what can the broker do for you? Absolutely anything. You are wasting your time, you are wasting their time, and you also appear as not very professional because you didn't do an appropriate research. So how can you understand who is who? Well, let me tell you that after some time that you are in the industry, you get to know them, so you know them by heart. However, at the beginning, it might be tricky to understand because also, some private jet brokers does include private jet in their name, so it might create some confusion, So what do? You go on their website and you check their website. Basically, if you are a private jet operator who operates the private jets, you need to have an AOC, Alpha Oscar Charlie, so Air Operator Certificate. This is a certification issued by the Aviation Authority, which is mandatory for you to have in order to be legal to operate a jet, okay, to be legal to fly. So you need to have an AOC. If on the footer of the website page there is written AOC number blah blah blah, that's a private jet operator. If there is no AOC number, or maybe there is some other explanation, some other phrases, then that's a broker. For example, some brokers, they are actually very kind on this in this sense, and they like to explain what do they do. So in order to be recognizable, to be easy for people to understand who they are. For example, they might write something like, we are a brokerage company, we operate on behalf of a private jet operator, holder of an AOC. So that makes you understand they themselves do not hold an an AOC, but they work, okay, they cooperate together with some other organization who actually hold an AOC. So if they do not have an AOC, which again is written in the footer of the website where there is the privacy policy, terms and conditions, cookies, and all these things, you can also find the AOC number eventually. If there is no AOC number, that's a broker. So to send your CV as a VIP flight attendant to a broker, again, is totally a waste of time. Now, you have identified that this is a private jet operator because there is the AOC number on their website. Fantastic. Second research that you have to do, and you better do that, it's to find out what is their fleet, okay? Again, this works very different than the airline. Not all the private jets do actually have a flight attendant on board. Some of them are so small, so tiny, that there is not even space for a flight attendant. Some of them do not even have a lavatory. Some of them has a cabin height of 1.40 m, so an adult cannot even stand still on board the cabin. In this case, there is no flight attendant at all, and in case there is an in-flight service required by the customers, that will be performed by the pilots, okay? So the crew is just limited to 2 people, the captain and the first officer, and that's it. Now, private jets are classified in a very specific classification method. So once you get familiar with the classification, you can understand very quickly if the private jet has a flight attendant on board or not, and if you can actually, apply for that. So to cut the story short, private jets with flight attendant on board always, you have heavy jets, ultra long range, and airliners. These 3 categories, they always have a flight attendant on board. Then, sometimes you might have a medium-sized jet, which may or may not have a flight attendant on board. This depends on the flight itself, how the company operates those jets. Maybe it's a jet, it's a very special flight, and the owner wants to show off with the customers, with his guests, so he requires to have a flight attendant for that specific flight. In this case, because it's not something that happens all the time, they will simply call a freelancer, okay? So medium-sized jet, they may or they may not have a flight attendant on board. Whatever is below the medium-sized jet do not have a flight attendant on board. So you have better to check the fleet of the private jet operator before sending your CV, and try to find out the specifics, the details of the jet. How tall is the cabin? And how many seats? Is there a lavatory? Is there a galley? Is there actually a jump seat or a crew or a crew seat? So a seat dedicated to the crew itself. Then you can, you can have a better understanding of if this jet is operated with a flight attendant or not. If you cannot find those information, probably the best way to find those information is to go on the website of the manufacturer, okay? You go on the website of the manufacturer and you check out, they have like all the specifics of the jets, all the measurements, all the numbers and performances and so on and so forth. So you can check that out over there. If you are in doubt regarding what type of jet is what, if this organization is a broker or is a private jet operator, please do